So for the last week, week and a half, 2 weeks, whatever, something like that, I've been working on my book, and The Crown and the Cage God, this book, that's book 1, part 2. I've been working on book 1, part 3, and not on a particular chapter, just the first half dozen chapters all at the same time, tinkering with the base coat. But today I woke up and decided I need to put the final brush strokes on one of these chapters so I can just cross it off the board and feel like it's moving forward. So I did that. I crossed off the first chapter in the upcoming book is number 216, because this is book 1, part 3. As I was crossing it off, I was thinking about art, and not just novels, but paintings and music. And I'm putting the cap on the dry erase marker, and this epiphany occurs to me, which is, if a work of art is not a Horcrux, it's not art at all. It's just work. And the worker who made it is not an artist. They're just a businessman. That's what gender neutral version of that, a business hominid. Basil Hallward. I'm sure a lot of you know the reference, the literary reference, but he's the painter who painted the picture of Dorian Gray, in the in-world, painter. And he feared that he put too much of himself in his work, which is precisely the amount of self that art needs to contain. And in doing so, he made the original Horcrux, at least the original literary example that I'm aware of. A painting up in an attic that's just fully imbued with soul. But also Basil, he had no financial, not just a lack of business acumen. He had no business intention whatsoever. So he checked all the boxes of real art. And again, this is not just, in this case, paintings. It's novels, it's albums, it's sculpture, screenplays and whatever. These things are Horcruxes if they're real. They demand so much sacrifice, and none of that sacrifice can be aimed at economic gain. Although if you do it right, if you sacrifice enough, the immortality of a kind can be achieved. Some part of your soul survives its death, living on in your artwork. I'm not saying Voldemort was an artist, but he didn't have any economic interests that I'm aware of, so he was definitely halfway there. But that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Really what I want to say is here's my board. I have crossed off my first number, and I hope your figurative life board is having its goals crossed off too. All right, I'll see you next time.